Exchange, President Engineer Patrick Amriat, the Secretary General, Honorable Nathan Nandara Mafavi, and other party senior leaders have concluded a tour or a visit of Eastern Uganda districts, which began on Thursday with a meeting in Buyikwe for Buyikwe as a district, but also hosting all the FDC leaders from Busoga. The leadership of the district, together with the senior party leaders, are also auditing the FDC structures to establish vacant positions that are vacant either because of desertion, death, migration, loss of interest in leadership, and other factors. On Friday, the president and his team held a similar meeting for the FDC leaders from Busia, Butareja, and Tororo. This particular meeting took place in Tororo. On Saturday, they were in Mbale, meeting FDC leaders from Mugisu sub-region and Sebei. In total, 13 districts attended this meeting in Mbale. The final meeting for the Eastern Uganda took place on Sunday, which is yesterday, in Soroti. It was attended by the party leadership from all the Teso districts. The FDC leaders will next week on Friday, November 22nd, kick off the Northern Uganda tour with the similar meetings in Lango. So Friday they will be in Lango. The following day they will go to Achori and then spend the next 3 days in West Nile. Areas that have not been toured have been instructed. Areas that have been toured, where they have held these meetings, have been instructed to hold the elections to fill vacant positions. All leaders elected under this refill exercise are holding positions on an interim basis until internal party elections are held in about a year's time. The meetings have also discussed pending local government elections, where the Electoral Commission has announced vacancies, and these leaders, as I have said earlier, have been instructed to select and prepare candidates to participate in these elections. After Western Nile, the FDC will be in Western Uganda, starting with Bunyoro, and then we'll conclude this particular round of visits with Uganda. We'll be announcing dates for Uganda and Bunyoro in our subsequent press briefings. The second point is the reopening of tertiary institutions and universities. Today, as you are aware, November 1st, universities and other tertiary institutions opened their doors to students after the latest lockdown. We welcome as a party the reopening, because reports from your own media organizations indicate we are the only country who've made a record of being the country with the longest closure of schools in the whole world. So we want to welcome this reopening. The Minister for Education and her team, in our view, must now be in the field, identifying problems and providing solutions. We hope the inaccessible and very busy wife of Mr. Museveni will juggle her duties of First Lady and Education Minister and find time to attend to the reopening of these institutions. The other day you saw the Minister for Health. When there was a problem in Entebbe, she went there. This is what ministers must be doing. And that's why our view is that we think Museveni's wife, this time may be hopefully, she will be able to juggle her roles of being a First Lady, which, by the way, is also a full-fledged office. Maybe some of you don't know that Museveni's wife opened an office on Malcolm X in Kororo, where she was performing her duties as a First Lady. And at the time we were told that the First Lady is a full-time job. And that's why taxpayers spend money opening for an office on Malcolm X in Kororo. We hope she will be able to juggle these responsibilities and attend to the problems that are going to be emerging as we open education. As you saw the Minister for Health, personally not sending anyone, but driving and attending to problems at Entebbe Airport. This is what all ministers must be doing, not sleeping in their houses. It is clear that there is no plan, and what Mr. Museveni and his wife are doing is just announcing dates. This will open on this day. This will open, no plan on how this reopening is going to be conducted. The country must be told how many students, teachers, and support staff at a university level, for example, are in school. How many do we have? How many of them have so far been vaccinated? And the plan to vaccinate those who are yet to be vaccinated. In fact, vaccination teams, in our view as FDC, is that they should now be at the gates of all these universities. If you have students who have not been vaccinated, you must be vaccinating them on arrival, such that if they return from their respective districts, they don't come with COVID and then spread it at the university, and in January you're announcing another lockdown. Students who refuse to be vaccinated should be encouraged to attend classes through virtual means, Zoom, because it will be their choice if they don't want to be vaccinated. Museveni and his dear wife should release a detailed plan of helping students from poor families with tuition. Usually universities demand full payment before exams. This time we don't know whether this rigid policy is going to be employed. Some universities, exams on arrival. And if there's going to be a demand for full payment, there are parents who will not be able to pay this money on arrival. Some of the parents pay money in installments, this week, next month. So if on arrival students are subjected to exams and the requirement is that you must pay full tuition, this is where government must come in. The Minister for Education can use her budget, because for the last 2 years we have been releasing money to that sector to deal with this and other problems that will emerge when the sector fully opens. We expect Museveni's dear wife to be moving from radio to radio, TV to TV, explaining what her plan is. Short of that, the country might be plunged in the same chaos that you saw at the airport, when they made it mandatory that all arriving passengers must test for COVID, and you all witnessed what went on there. So these things are bound to happen. We don't want to blame anyone if they happen. Our blame is for those who don't go to attend to them. So our expectation, the minimum expectation, is that Museveni's wife now, today as school universities are open, must be moving around the country to identify problems and deal with them. That's what you do when you want to be a public servant. If you want to be someone whose wife you can stay in your residence, nobody will ask you to do anything. But if you want to be a public servant, you must be on the move all the time, solving problems. What about students from other countries that study from Uganda? Students from Tanzania, Kenya, Burundi, Rwanda, Congo, and South Sudan. Are they allowed to access our universities and during this problem, and under what arrangement? All these issues must be discussed. We demand for a similar plan for the reopening of the rest of the schools in the country, which Mr. Museveni said will be in January. And again, of course, Mr. Museveni and his dear wife must prepare the country adequately and early enough. There are many schools that have been sold, that have been turned into other businesses. Many teachers have abandoned teaching. Some are in the Middle East working as domestic workers. Some school buildings have collapsed. Parents have been laid down from their workplaces because of COVID and its consequences. So therefore they don't have money to pay for school fees. A detailed national plan of helping everybody back to school must be released. We demand that a comprehensive plan be issued and debated by the country through parliament, because you're not only preparing schools. Schools will not be the ones paying school fees. Some of you, I guess, are parents here. You must know either your child is going to the next class, how many terms you will be there, how you will be paying school fees. So the preparation is not between the minister and the schools. It is the whole country, because all of us are participants in the education. My children, if we are going to school, suppose they go for 3 weeks and they are back. Do I have the money for the next term? And I don't know which term it will be, whether first or third or second. So the whole country must be briefed on how these schools are going to run. Our demand is the same. We need a comprehensive plan. By this time, government should be completing or should have completed an audit of businesses that have been affected by COVID. If there are businesses that have collapsed, because you see, these businesses, including private businesses, are businesses for Uganda. Because the moment they collapse, the country is losing jobs, the country is losing income, because these businesses pay taxes. So we need an audit. Have we lost any business during the lockdown? How many are they? Which sort of help do they need to start? So that when we fully open in January, everybody knows what he will be doing. It's not enough to direct people who have been affected, because they keep issuing those very general statements. We've put money in Uganda Development Bank, and people don't know how to access it or don't have the necessary requirements. So we need a full audited list of businesses and how they are faring in the country. These businesses can be helped through tax measures and the relaxing of other statutory requirements. If we are required to pay, for example, NSSF, and at the opening they're asking you to pay all the areas, so these requirements can be relaxed and staggered. If a company is required to pay as you earn for staff, and it only has money to begin running in January. So that's why we think government must now be relaxing some of these measures to allow businesses, and then progressively you can begin restoring some of these statutory requirements. So the reopening of the economy is going to be a very serious matter, and we watch to see how Mr. Museveni will navigate it. Finally, issues of security. The FDC demand an honest investigation into the throwing of bombs around the country and other violent murders that have engulfed Uganda in the last couple of months. We need an external body, because in the past some of our law enforcement agencies and officers have been involved in this criminality, and Museveni has been the witness, each time saying police is full of kawukumi. So we don't expect kawukumi to be investigating itself, because the results are as obvious even before they are announced. So we cannot entrust UPDF and police, which Museveni says has kawukumi, to investigate itself. We demand that, because if they do so, the results cannot be accurate. Our demand as FDC is that we need to employ an external investigative firm, and maybe Parliament can also carry out parallel investigation. We need to come to the root causes of these bombs. If you have had some of the law enforcement officers involved in criminality, they also automatically become suspect, and therefore they can't be the ones investigating. And of course, we caution Mr. Museveni not to use the bombs to clamp down on his opponents. We believe, and we have said so before, that the two MPs arrested, the Honorable Alan Sewanyana of Makindye and the Honorable Muhammad Segirinya, are just victims of their political beliefs. They are not in prison because of murder and terrorism, but because Mr. Museveni must find someone to blame each time something happens. If it is not Rwanda, then it is the opposition and parasites who are funded by foreign forces. And Museveni makes these pronouncements even before investigations are concluded. So when something happens, you'll hear Museveni announcing who is behind it and who is sponsoring him. At the same time, he will also be announcing investigation. And then you wonder, why is he investigating if he already has the answers? I want to thank you very much. If there are questions, I can take them at this time.